detail here that really shocked me was that she had a daughter with this emperor, right? She allegedly strangled her own daughter and then said that it was done by the empress.
The daughter died?
Yeah, daughter died.
Wow!
What's up? What's up? What's up?
And welcome to our coffee shop. I'm your host, Vian, and welcome to another episode of the KopiBros show presented by the Chit Podcast Network. Now, for those of you that are tuning in via YouTube or any sort of podcasting platform, hi again. Thank you so much for giving us a try, for giving us a listen. We're just a Singaporean duo that are going to learn more about some badass females. And once again, I'm joined by a man who knows a lot about women. I'm joined by Mr. Tio. Tio, how are you doing, bro?
I have to claim that I am not, how do I put this without sounding like a novice? I haven't learned enough about women. Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But brother, I'm married. Yeah, I've been my wife for a while, right? To be honest, yeah, there's still a lot of things to learn.
New things learned.
Now, Ji-Yong, you and I, right, we met up over the weekend at Koka. We had like a nice buffet. And then after that, we also had to go and record on yesterday, correct? We recorded with each other yesterday. Are you sick of hanging out with each other? Just curious.
Not lying, I would love to have another female guest on one of our programs. Any programs would do.
Yeah, I would love to have another female because specifically the topic that we're going to be covering this week also is like very
female-centric.
Yeah, female-centric and very female-focused. Hopefully one day, right, we will be able to have a female voice on our podcast channel because, you know, it's always good to have a different perspective on things like, now previously we did a series on mythologies and I think we more or less have run its course of that series. However, I wanted to expand on that series. So we're not going to like deep dive into the mythologies itself, but instead we are going to do this series that is going to be like warriors, where we will focus specifically on individuals, and these individuals, they can be like in mythology or they can be like historical. Interestingly enough, right, because on the 8th of March is going to be International Women's Day, we thought what...
name.
Yeah, so we're going to start this series off taking a look at some of the most badass female warriors in the history. Just curious for you, Jin Yong, as you are researching these characters, do you have a lot of fun learning about them?
Yes, because I think a lot of the female characters, you only know like let's say for example, I only know Joan of Arc was important in the war. But when you start researching, then you realize like, also this is how important she is. Then you start learning like, actually there are some things about her that is very questionable. And then there's also question about whether she really participated in the war.
Yes.
She like served as a beacon of like, I don't know, some beacon of hope and whatever lah. Instead of actually taking knives and spears and fighting.
Yeah, and also like, because we did say that we're going to pick three sort of badass females, right? When we did say like, for instance, Joan of Arc, there's this gray area where it's like, is this actually like fact or fiction? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, which is a lot of fun when I also personally went to go and like research the Joan of Arc character, right? Then it's like, oh wow, there's like a lot of mystical elements to it. Yeah, a lot of political elements to it as well, right? You know, and then of course the infamous way that her life, but we'll dive into that stuff later lah. Now out of the three warriors that we're going to be covering, maybe you can just give like a brief like overview of who are the three females that we're going to be covering before we dive in. How would you rank these warriors in like how badass they are specifically?
No, the cough isn't supposed to mean anything. But I'll rank. I have a ranking in my heart for the three of them.
Okay.
I'll rank Zetian first because of the sheer, how do you say, like she could be unscrupulous and she could be motherly.
Okay.
When she when she wanted to. And she really rose to power. Like become the emperor and the only female emperor in China. So I think just based on the magnitude, based on her abilities, and based on how long she prevailed, I'll rank her first. My next warrior is Mary Stopes. I don't even know whether I'm pronouncing her name correctly.
Okay.
She popped up when I was researching. So she's the first advocate for family planning. So she's the first one that tell women that actually you all can take birth control. Instead of, you know, them like when after they get married, they are under the pressure of like must service the husband, must, and then no protection, and then when the kid come out, is the kid come out already. Yeah.
And I'm guessing the last person is Joan of Arc.
Yeah, Joan of Arc. The last person is Joan of Arc, not because like of her achievements or anything lah, but I think there were a lot of questions and there were a lot of like things after, how do you say, after she passed away. And then there were a lot of questions raised. In fact, there were people that questioned whether she really had a vision or whether she's suffering from some kind of mental illness. Yeah, and then I think her conquest only lasted 2 years, which is actually relatively short.
Ziyong, are you ready to wear your armor and go into battle with these ladies?
Let's go.
Let's go. Chionga! Let's get right into the episode. Okay, so we briefly touched on this in the intro. We're going to be talking about 3 awesome female badass warriors. And first off, Jin Yong, who are we going to be talking about?
Let's talk about Wu Zetian, the first emperor of China.
Okay,
sorry, I'm not the first female emperor of China.
Yeah.
No, she really became emperor.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let's dive into that.
Yeah. Short.
Oh, okay.
But there's a reason why when you search Tang emperors, her name is not.
Oh, okay.
I'll touch on that when we talk
sure.
about her death. Actually, Wu Zetian, right? She came from a family of like very rich people. The father made the money because the father is a businessman. So the father made money because the emperor of the previous dynasty, right, wasted too much time wanting to build build a lot of infrastructure lah. Then they had to like import wood lah, import all this infrastructure stuff, right? So the father was like the middleman to do all this import export. And then they earned the big money then, which was why she had the connections to go into the palace as a concubine at the age of 14.
At the age of 14 being a concubine. So is it common?
Yes.
At
it's
this
common.
age of 14?
Actually, at the age of 12, 13, right, women were actually getting married already, which is why actually infant mortality rate was actually very high then. Not only because of the the poor advancements in medical technology, but because the women were getting pregnant too young. So their bodies were not ready for it. At the age of 14, she entered the palace as a concubine. Okay. So there are 2 emperors here. You don't get confused about it. There is Tang Taizong. There is Tang Gaozong. The Taizong is the father lah. Okay. So the father wasn't interested in this lady because this lady struck him as too intelligent, too like, how do you say, like too capable. So even though he was aware of her abilities, right? Like sometimes you see her, then she'll say something, or like you talk to her, then he realized, this girl like not simple. I better distance myself from her. When she entered at 14, the Taizong was already 50 plus, 60 plus already. So within a few years, right, this Taizong actually passed away. There are 2 ways of looking at this. One of some historians say because in Tang dynasty, there is a tradition that once the emperor passed away, right, the concubines have to shave their head and become nuns to show like their love for the emperor. Another way of saying it is, Wu Zetian felt that she didn't have enough power to survive in this struggle between concubines, emperors, and all this stuff. So she volunteered and said, I know you're going to die, so show my loyalty to you. I own self exile myself to become nun. But lo and behold, on one fine day, Tang Taizong because before he died, he appointed his 3rd son to become the emperor because he realized the 1st and 2nd fighting very fiercely. This 3rd son became Tang Gaozong, which is very, very young. So the Tang Gaozong visited the nunnery or the monastery that she was in, infatuated with her, And supposedly, according to records, right, I don't know how they had relationship.
Yeah, so he has a certain type.
Correct. And apparently, to some records, he loves strong women. He loved women with opinion.
Okay.
So after he came back, he like every day think about her, then like thinking about how to bring her back. Then at that time, his own emperors actually helped him. Because his emperor and his concubine were in a struggle for power. Emperors rank higher, but couldn't bear him a son. Concubine, lower rank, but bear him a son. So the emperors say, I have to, in this struggle for power, I need some support. So she thought that by bringing back Wu Zetian from the nun as a distraction to take away his attention, she will sort of gain an advantage over this concubine.
That produced the son, the other concubine that produced the son. Okay.
So she own self go tell the emperor say, hey, I know you got a lover outside. I'm okay if you bring her in.
Oh,
Then he immediately, did all the paperwork, put all the emperor edict, then bring her in. That was the start of the end. Because he realized, right, this lady was very capable. He started giving him a lot of advice, like, hey, I think you should do this. I think in terms of politics, this is what we should do. Then in a lot of like affairs of the government, he actually listened to her. This was pre her becoming the empress and really just sitting in like doing his imperial affairs. This was just like in the bedroom kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So,
slowly. Like bedroom talk, like they lying on pillow
talk. Correct. This was where she showed how shrewd she was, Because every time Gao Zong like appreciated her, like, hey, I give you gift, I give you this one. She didn't keep it for herself, Legend has it that she started bribing all the like, hey, palace mate, give you some. Hey, this eunuch, I give you some. Then that's how she built her network of spies, Then this empress do what? That concubine do what? She get all her information very fast.
Like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones or like Varys from Game of Thrones. Yeah. My little spy network.
Very. That's when you realize, right? She could be unscrupulous. She could be detailed, but at the same time, she had the foresight to recommend her husband in terms of imperial affairs.
Oh.
And that is why Gao Zong became infatuated with her. So much so that it got to a point, right, that he already had 4 emperors, because at that time, right, there was a limit to how many emperors you can have.
Okay.
He actually broke the rule and conferred her an empress, right, and gave her the title that in Chinese meant that this is even, this is decided by the stars. It's even higher rank than the 4 emperors.
Wow, it's like a divine intervention. It's like a divine selection.
Yes.
Wow.
Something like polar star or something, I forget. Lo and behold, this concubine and this empress that so fight over the emperor's attention, right, cannot banish. The Chinese called 冷宫, cannot banish to the cold palace. And then in some way or other, right, poison die already. And hurt off after she became an empress. A small detail here that really shocked me was that when she had a daughter with this emperor, right, she allegedly strangled her own daughter and then said that it was done by the empress.
The daughter died?
Daughter died.
Wow.
People debate whether it's she killed or died of natural causes. But she bite on the fact that, hey, this empress visited my daughter the night before she died. She was the only one that did it. And then that's how the empress got sent into the cold palace.
Has this been made into a show? I'm sure it has, right?
Yes. It's a 20 minute, 20 episode, 30 episode thing. Acted by Fan Bingbing.
Yeah, so it's very juicy so far.
So it's like, can you imagine like you kill your own daughter just to gain an edge over a political rival and then banish her?
Yeah,
It's damn scary, yeah. After she rose to power to become empress, this was the site when we could see her fairness. Because when she became empress, right, she had a few officials that were of very modest background. So one of them is Shangguan Wan-er. So Shangguan Wan-er is actually a lady that she herself killed her grandmother because of some political struggle. But she liked this little girl because she said, hey, you can write poetry, you're very eloquent. So she started taking her in at first as secretary. Then when she became empress, right, she was like head of staff, help her draft all the imperial decree, all the all the orders, everything, all the paper, right? All she write for him.
Care about capability.
Correct. So another person is Di Renjie. Di Renjie is very famous for when he was an official in the Gao Zong, the father's emperor era. He openly criticized the father emperor. But she said, I like your honesty. You will become my prime minister. Legend has it that he was 70 plus, right? So old, he keeps saying, I want to retire. Can you let me retire? She said, no, you retire, I don't have anybody else to trust to run my government. So he said, okay, I give you concession. You don't have to go on your knees when you talk to me.
Oh, okay. You're the only one that can stand upright and talk to me.
Correct.
Yeah, just because I need you.
Officials, her more experienced officials that I feel that it's a sign of like how capable and how like she's willing to overlook all this background thing and just do her abilities to plug people up. Of course, people can argue that she doesn't have like a strong political background. Her family like is a family of businessmen. She doesn't have like, my uncle is this one from where. Yeah. But I feel that this one is a show . She shows how capable she is .
Yeah, I think also like the fact that she grew up in a business background maybe helped her a lot, because it's like,
yes, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
we need
Because
to find the most effective way to get things done.
correct,
Or like,
correct.
yeah.
And also because of her family background, right? Her father, when she was young, actually asked her to just study.
Oh, okay,
Because it's like, I got money, right? I don't need you to go out work. I don't need you to get married soon, but study. Yeah. So then that's when she learned all the how to read, how to write, all this thing. Come to this Gao Zong, in his later years, health is getting from bad to worse. So anyway, he finally died. She had 4 sons in succession, supposed to take over succession. First one died because of weakness. Illness.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Second son is the most capable one in terms of like ability, in terms of thinking and everything. But she found some lame reason, sent him to some far corner of China, right? Secretly, he just died after a few weeks. Yeah. Third one, when he was a crown prince, because he blurted out, because he was so eager to show himself, he blurted out that, don't worry, I can let your father become a very important official. She beat on that, and forced him to step down.
Oh, okay.
The last one, she didn't even bother. She didn't even bother caring to hide her intention anymore. She just said, "Hey, I know you're very sad about your father's death. You go and rest in your house." So it's like house arrest, So when the fourth son under house arrest, right? Really? And the fourth son under house arrest, right? She employed a monk, the most esteemed monk, right? And point at him and say, "I want you to read all the Buddhist scriptures, right? Find one that gives me legitimacy to the crown."
Oh, okay.
Then he finally found one thing. He said, "Oh, I think this one might make sense. This one is talking about some phoenix, don't know what." And then she crowned herself emperor when she was 60 plus years old.
Oh, damn.
So I already abridged the whole version. Can you imagine, like, from the age of 14, you go into the palace, the emperor don't like you, you go become a nun, then you come back and still have the fire and say, "I want to be the emperor." Then you rise to power at age 60. I just think it's amazing, man.
Use an opportunity where it's like this one, the other emperor likes me. Then it's like she just use it to her advantage to get all the way to the top. Wow, yeah. She must have been very pretty also, I'm assuming.
Yes, when she was young, she was very pretty.
Okay.
But then again, people question that because history at that time were written by officials of the court. So you can write, "She's not pretty, man, she kill you."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, that's a good point, my friend. You better hope. Yeah, you better know that she's the prettiest woman in life.
In fact, there were palace artists at that time, right? Because there were so many concubines, the emperor couldn't bother to pick, like see them and pick. He will ask the palace artist to draw, and then he will pick according to the drawing. So some drawings, right, if you bribe the artist the right way, right, they can beautify one.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So anyway,
they got the...
That's a 题外话.
Yeah, the advanced Adobe Premiere Pro.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So she was in power for about 15 years, 10, 15 years, I forget how long.
Wow.
Yeah. But before she died, she did something very crucial. She told her people that she didn't want to be buried as emperor. She wanted to be buried as an empress beside Gao Zong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So some people saw this as a very smart move because number one, if you bury as an emperor, all the historians after you is going to dig this out and say that you are against rules, you so-called don't know your place in society, this kind of thing, And at that time, it was a very close era where thinking wasn't so advanced. So there's a chance she might be written out of history because people won't include them.
Yeah.
But by saying that I am the empress, so I am buried beside my husband. I did my part as the wife.
I supported his role after he passed. Yeah, I just carried his legacy on.
Correct. She ensured that she will be, her history is passed down and today we can still hear about it. So even now today we know that she's the only female emperor of China. But she's also quite unscrupulous. I mean, in the sense that you see she can strangle her own daughter.
Yeah, ruthless.
Other records will say that because she want to kill this person, right, she will go ask an official to torture other officials until he say, okay, yes, this is a part of a big scheme that linked to this big person. Then that's how she eliminate all her political rivals.
I think this is very, very interesting insight into, the political female, the element, being the first emperor in China. Okay. Very interesting. Now, we're going to dive into the second story, which is, if correct me if I'm wrong, is Marie Stopes.
Okay, so Marie Stopes, right? Like I say, she is important for pioneering birth control. So she's the first one to openly hand out like birth control pills to women and say that like, you should take this. But at that time, the era that she lived in, Catholic churches still played a very big role in people's lives. And so-called controlled birth or this kind of like idea of birth control was still against some of their teachings. Besides, how to say, pioneering birth control, she wrote 2 books. Okay, 1918, the book is called Married Love, A New Contribution to the Solution of Sex Difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Amazing thing was that she didn't only talk about birth control, she actually talked about like how to have a happy marriage. But it was very against convention at that time. Because she talked about like, husband and wife get married, don't need to rush to have baby one. You all can wait 2 years. It was against Catholic teaching because by right, you're not supposed to have protected sex. I think even more shocking was the fact that she wrote in the book that achieving sexual pleasure was equally important to both men and women, which is also very unheard of at that time.
Yeah, at that time, right, it was really just like you're just a product to reproduce, like like to go and like bear children. Like your sole function in society is just to bear children. Like, yeah.
Then it also caused a lot of like her to be criticized and everything, but she don't care. She just like say she just carry on her advocacy. You know, even starting her own family planning clinic. UK's first birth control clinic in London was actually started by her in 1921. And the clinic still exists today.
Really?
Not the clinic itself, but yes, evolved into an organization.
Is it MSI Reproductive Choices?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Right. Wow. Yeah. Very interesting.
All these things to us now might seem like, like birth control, nothing wrong, right? I mean, maybe, I don't know about Singapore, but I know that in Europe and America, a lot of mothers, when their daughters grow to a certain age, right, they will ask them to take birth control pills because number one is to prevent pregnancy. Yeah. Number 2 is to regulate the period. So, but at that time, this was unheard of because women was supposed to serve a certain role in society.
Yeah, but she still played a very important role in advancing, I guess, this field. Yeah, like reproductive researchers and stuff like that. And also like the contraceptives and stuff like that.
And then not only that, but she also talked about like how to have a happy married life. If you look at her background, right, she actually came from her parents were actually very educated. Like her father and her mother were like from very educated backgrounds, which was why they actually encouraged her to go study, and which was why she had the ability to do all this metaphysical thinking and like not some metaphysical, but she can have the knowledge to know that I should push for this. Like this is right. Like instead of like just conforming to what normal society would do. I have a very interesting story that is not related to women but to men one. But I thought it's a right story to share to sort of understand that even though 1920 was 100 years ago, medical science at that time wasn't as advanced as it is today. A book called The Curious History of Sex. So in it, they actually talk about like during the same time period, 1910s, 1920s, apparently there was a lot of belief that for men to gain back virility, right, you just need a transplant of new testicles. I don't know who actually, of course, it has since been proven wrong. But at that time, I don't know who came up with this idea to scientifically prove it correct. So they started experimenting on like, can we use like pig testicles and then like transplant to another pig, or like monkey testicle transplant to human. And they did enough tests. They write paper and scientifically prove it to be correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So you know that, have you heard of all the stories of like people go Manila or where, then you wake up in a bathtub of ice, your kidney gone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in 1920s, there was a newspaper that say this young man woke up next day, not his kidney gone, his testicle gone.
What?
So scientific way, sometimes you also have to question whether it's really scientific or not. I mean, yeah.
Whether it's ethical also as well. You know what I mean? Now we're going to dive into our last character, which is, I think, out of the 3 characters, the most famous, or infamous character is, of course, Joan of Arc. Right. Yeah. So Jiong can carry us away.
Okay, Joan of Arc, like Wu Zetian, right? Very little is known about her young history. I mean, her history when she was young. Because a lot of this history is backdated in the sense that they were written after they came into power or people write about them. Okay, so all that is known is that actually we don't even know her real name. We only know that she's called Joan of Arc. Okay, so we only know that she's born to farmer parents.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then at the age of 13, she starts saying, oh, this Saint Michael came into my dreams. So I have this holy, holy mission to lead the French to go against the war against England. So at the age of 17, right, people actually brought her to court to see the French King Charles VII.
Yes,
because
correct.
at that time they were fighting war. Then I think King Charles wanted the right to the throne lah. So of course she was very passionate. She talked about her mission and everything, but this king still very suspicious of her leh. 2 days later, he actually agreed to let her lead the war. So she was actually successful in her conquest of the French against the English. Although in previous wars they actually lost.
And also the fact that she was very young when she did it.
Correct.
Very, very young.
Only
Yeah.
19, I think. 17. No, sorry, 17 only. She died at 19. She was only 17 at that time.
Yeah, correct.
Of course, historian question that did she actually fight? Like, did she take the knife and the spear to stab people? Or did she, according to some historians, she actually just held a flag? She was like a beacon or some like person that you look at lead the war really just hold a flag. Amazingly, she won. She didn't claim credit for it, okay? She actually asked King Charles to say, come to Orleans and be the king. She said, this is the right time for you to claim your right to the throne.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
King Charles became king, but I think people started getting red eye about his and her achievements. Mm-hmm. So actually 2 years later, funnily enough, it's not the British people that caught her. It's the French people that allied with the British people that caught her.
Yes, correct.
And then say that, oh, you are a witch. You do things against our code of law and everything. How do you say? She was so smart that all the traps that the lawyer, religious people,
blasphemous.
So they wanted to use all this craft and to say that all this like you're possessed and all these things, right? But she answered all the questions like very calmly, like she thought this through. She jumped through all the loopholes, so much so that they couldn't pin her down and just say, okay, you are a cross-dresser, this one against us. You're going down for cross-dressing. Which, according to some historians, is like one of the most lopsided and one of the most unfair trials.
Yes,
but lo and behold,
it was an unfair trial. Yeah.
She was burned at the stake because they say she was a witch. Not once, 3 times.
Yes,
they have
3
to burn
times.
3 times to make sure that she won't revive. I have read some research that say that current psychologists and current researchers think that she might have suffered for schizophrenia. Okay? But I think her achievements in leading the French against the English at war cannot be emphasized enough, because if you know history, right, the French is always on the losing side of wars one.
Yes.
So her and Napoleon are some of the very rare cases when they actually won.
The fact that this King Charles, right, he was really very desperate to become the king.
Yes.
Whereas her intentions were not to be like glorified as a king. It's like from her, it was just a religious perspective, or like being I'm doing God's purpose. That's why I didn't claim credit and stuff like that. Then he saw this as a opportunity to go and push himself up.
So their purposes align lah.
I think this character of Joan of Arc, right, if you look throughout her history also, there's a lot of cases of like where she says something's going to happen and after something that eventually does happen, or like a war will turn out this way, or like she give very like strategic war tactics to say like, okay, don't go to this area, go to this area and stuff like that, right? Yeah. And then all of it turned out to be like accurate.
True.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's quite crazy that the only thing that they managed to catch her on is like cross-dressing. Do you know what I mean? Like
Okay, so she really dressed as a male to go to war because I don't know, maybe at that time female really they still not being looked upon in the right way.
Technically, she has to wear, I guess, armor that is like tailored to men, because most of the time the men are the one that is fighting the war. Do you know what I mean? I can't expect her to like wear a skirt into battle or anything like that. I mean, the thing about this Joan of Arc, right, is been remade into like films and stuff like that because of how fascinating her character is.
Correct.
As we like sort of put a close to this episode, right? For you, right, as we learn about all of these badass female characters, were there other ones that you wanted to consider like taking a look at, or just specifically these 3 other ones? Oh yeah, Marie Curie. Marie Curie is a good one because she's like the pioneer for a lot of the physics stuff, right? That happened. The chemistry. Yeah, we picked her in the left-handed draft, if I remember right.
Oh yes, correct.
Yeah, Gordon picked her. Yeah, I remember correctly. Yeah,
I think Florence Nightingale. For her sheer like kindness and like the epitome of human good.
I think ultimately it's good that we got to do this episode. We learn more about some of the most badass women in like history and stuff like that lah. We are gonna like continue this series and then we'll dive specifically more into like it can be history or it can be like Norse or like mythology stuff lah. But that was just a small glimpse into this like new format that we're going to be trying out. But okay, that was our most badass females in history episode.
Get out of here.
Oh, look at the time. The coffee shop is closing. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed the episode, please remember give it a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. We have episodes that drops every Monday. But at the same time, also, if you're into football, we have the Football Kaki that drops every Wednesday. And also, if you're into fun and interesting game show formats, you have our SG Draft podcast, the big podcast here at the Chit Chatter that drops every Friday. Also, if you're interested in fun Instagram tournament polls, we have a weekly tournament poll that goes out every Monday to Thursday that's reoccurring at 12 p.m. And this week's tournament is going to be most iconic female movie characters. Yeah. So there's a ton of like badass females that have been in the law of history for movies. So like Ripley, like Kill Bill, Lara Croft and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're interested to go and vote for this tournament, you can head over to our Instagram every Monday or Thursday at 12 p.m. to go and vote. All right. We hope everyone learned a bit more about the awesome females in history. But remember,
a kopi a day keeps your troubles away. But also remember, as Zetian said, when one's aim is to achieve greatness, everyone is expendable, including our own.